Now, finally, a man who has worked tirelessly on our behalf. As I said, you hear him all the time on with Bob Durgan, the one, the only, Mr. Dave Baldinger.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This is a great rally, and it's appreciated. 4 years ago, almost to the day, I stood on this very spot during a similar rally and implored the lawmakers, their leadership, and the governor to end the tyranny of school property taxes. In the 4 years since then, tens of thousands of good, decent citizens have lost their homes to sheriff's tax sales because they couldn't pay their rent to the government. In the 4 years since then, seniors have continued to make difficult choices between paying for food and medicine or their property taxes. In the 4 years since then, fewer young people have been able to afford the American dream of home ownership because they can't afford monthly tax escrow payments that can equal the amount of their mortgage payment. In the 4 years since then, Pennsylvania farms that have been in families for generations have been splintered as these farmers have sold their land to pay their property taxes. In the 4 years since then, Pennsylvania's economic standing has declined precipitously. Small businesses have foregone expansion and new hiring, and the state's future, its young college graduates, have left in droves for areas with better tax climates, all because of the property tax. And in the 4 years since then, our government has done nothing to cure this disease that infects and destroys the very fabric of our lives. But also during those 4 years, a massive, unified grassroots movement has grown and flourished. This amazing affiliation of 72 taxpayer groups and tens of thousands of dedicated supporters from across the state are speaking with one voice: end the property tax now! Through the entire development of House Bill 1776 and Senate Bill 1400, the Property Tax Independence Act, the legislation has been subjected to continuous vetting by diverse experts in our taxpayer coalition. We know to a certainty that the plan works and has far-reaching benefits for taxpayers, school children, and Pennsylvania's business and economic climate. In the Property Tax Independence Act, we have excellent legislation that has been crafted in full partnership with the grassroots taxpayer organization, something you never see in Harrisburg lawmaking. This bill has bipartisan legislative support and has generated massive taxpayer enthusiasm. Do you agree? On April 3rd, the Reading Eagle newspaper polled its readers about the Property Tax Independence Act. 90% of the respondents agreed with the provisions of the legislation. On April 11th, KQV Radio in Pittsburgh conducted a similar poll that resulted in 85% approval. How much further proof of taxpayer demand for this legislation is necessary before action is taken? In a newspaper story yesterday about this rally, one representative was quoted as saying that we should take an incremental approach. In other words, partial relief measures. 3 times in the past 14 years, we've been given incremental solutions, and all of them have been total failures. Why would anyone want to try this again? The homeowners of Pennsylvania have patiently waited for more than 30 years while property tax relief has been ceaselessly debated in the General Assembly with no effective result. Enough! The opportunity is here. The time to end the tyranny of school property taxes is now. Just as our forebears did in 1776, today we have brought our grievances to our government for all to hear. The taxpayers of Pennsylvania request, no, demand that the General Assembly enact this legislation to finally give our families the freedom from fear of seizure of our property and the constitutional right of true home ownership that is ours. Our voices will be heard. Today, we declare our independence from the inequitable and crushing burden of the school property tax. These lawmakers who stand with us today and others who have co-sponsored this legislation but couldn't be with us understand the problem, the urgency of a solution, and the wisdom of the Property Tax Independence Act. They will face strong opposition, and they need to know that all of them, that we will have their backs in this fight. Will you stand with these men and women, and will you defend them in this fight? So here's a call to action. Down that hallway is the governor's office and the leaders of the House of Representatives. Turn that way and tell them right now, give me back my home. Give me back my home. Down this hallway are the leaders of the Senate. Tell them too, give me back my home. Again, give me back my home. Next, while you're here today, I want you to visit your representatives and senator's office to respectfully request that they co-sponsor and work for the enactment of the Property Tax Independence Act. If they've already done so, show your appreciation and thank them for their help. If they have or will not, ask them why and let us know the reason. Opposition often results from misunderstanding, and addressing their concerns could be enough to have them join us. There's aides at each of the Rotunda's entrances with the location of your lawmakers' offices. Hands, where are you guys? All right, they'll have their hands up. They'll have locations for your lawmakers' offices. Take a copy, pay your lawmaker a visit. And finally, call or write your representative and senator again when you return home and tell everyone about the Property Tax Independence Act and ask them to call or write too. With everyone's help, we can let them know that this, without a doubt, is what we want. Thank you, everyone, for being here today to declare our independence from school property taxes. Now let's get this done.